Random shit anyways.
What's that?
We were talking about random shit anyways. You didn't
Well,
have
I
to
mean,
We were
lie.
talking about video games.
Yeah, how is that different from any other time?
Oh my god. I think I might have freaking like completely stunned the DM for my Sprawl game last night.
Yeah, I heard the end of that last night. That was pretty
Did
impressive.
you? That was fucking amazing.
Testing 1, 2.
Yep, there you are.
Hey.
Okay, so
The chat afterwards. Yeah.
all right. So yeah, coming back in, we have morning comes, dawn rises, the rooster crows. Elizabeth, of course, wakes up at Asher's. Selenda is, I assume, still in bed with Alistair, unless you would kick him out.
Oh no, she's gonna be pissed if he's gone when she wakes up.
Okay. Alton, the young lady chef, actually sort of takes her leave before dawn, like before sun comes up. She does kind of wake you to give you a little heads up, gives you a little parting gift, let's say.
Fantastic. I'm
Heads
an early
up.
riser.
Oh, good work. Good pun work.
Good one. I love it.
So yeah, she sneaks out. Okay, so yeah, what's the plan? Who wants to go first?
Well, Selenda is gonna stay in bed with Alistair for a while.
Okay.
Beth would probably wake up first, knowing that she's already discussed like a curfew with Celinda that she needs to be home by noon. But if Asher doesn't wake, shit, I almost did it. She'd actually probably snoop around the brownstone a bit because she hasn't seen much besides the foyer and his bedroom.
You keep trying to sneak around this dude's house. He told you he loves you, and you're trying. This is some sketchy shit. All right, yeah. I mean, why don't you roll me a stealth check to see that you don't wake his ass up?
Well, she's not sneaking, but yeah, this is Beth, so Dex, and she'll fail. Or not.
Okay. Yeah. So you wore him out. He is exhausted, and so you do manage to creep out of bed. He does start to kind of rouse a little bit, but then he kind of rolls over, and you see him, gently snoring again. So yeah, you can go snooping around his house.
And again, she's not so she goes down and she actually checks out the sitting room, and she honestly, she'd probably forage through his kitchen to see what he had, if anything.
Does she clean his apartment?
No.
So wait,
no.
sorry, what were you looking for specifically?
Going into the kitchen, she wants to see what he has in the icebox for maybe making breakfast.
Yeah, there's probably his kitchen is pretty barren. You might find some eggs. There's probably some flour that probably is clumpy because it hasn't been used. You get the impression that this kitchen doesn't get used often. But you could probably find some things. You do find a bowl of fresh fruit and maybe some vegetables. But yeah, you wouldn't necessarily find oats or stuff to make pancakes.
That's okay. That totally works for her because, again, farm girl. She would totally do a veggie omelet with fresh fruit. And bring him breakfast in bed. Assuming she doesn't destroy everything. Because this is Beth.
Okay. So, what would be a cooking roll?
Performance, maybe.
Sure. Okay, I'll buy that. Yeah, roll performance. Okay. So the good thing is because there's a lot of fruit and what have you, that stuff doesn't really need cooked or prepared. But yeah, the eggs, if you try to cook them, they come out really runny. It's not perfect. It's edible, right?
Yeah, and I can see she loses a lot of the stealth because she's where's the pan? Where the hell's the pans?
Yeah.
Clang, clang.
Yeah, but Asher's still asleep actually when you come back upstairs. And you kind of come into the room, and he does start to rouse. You see he's standing at attention when you enter the room. And he sees that you've cooked breakfast. And he says, "Oh, energy for another round. My feelings for you are not going to diminish. I can see that now." And he stands up. Is he dressed at all?
I would imagine not.
Okay, yeah. So he's standing there completely in the buff, just basically pointing at you, and he walks over to you and he takes the tray. Are you dressed? Did you put anything on to go cook?
Probably no, because her options are the dress. She probably stuffed her travel clothes and stuff in the backpack sitting in his foyer.
Okay. Yeah, so he kind of puts the tray down like on the dresser. And what all did you prepare exactly?
Probably again like a veggie runny omelet kind of thing, and then just a bowl of fresh fruit. Simple,
Okay.
light fare.
So he takes his fingers and he like wow. Puts his fingers on some of the fresh fruit. Maybe there's like some, I don't know, watermelon or cantaloupe. I imagine it would be like a melon kind of thing. And he puts a piece in his mouth and he starts to eat it. Takes another piece, puts it in your mouth.
She'll make a tease out of consuming it, knowing that the omelet's not that great, and they're probably not going to get to that part.
Right, yeah. And he takes another piece of fruit and puts it in his mouth, takes another piece, and he starts to put the fruit on you, but not in your mouth. And I imagine like it degrades from there,
Devolves from there,
and
yep.
you end up back in bed with some sticky fruit. And then, what's going on with Celinda and Alistair?
I don't know. I think if he's still asleep, she'll creep down to the kitchen and see if there's any breakfast, trying to avoid her parents if at all possible.
Yeah, and actually what you find is that the chef and her two assistants are already in there working.
Mm-hmm.
And as you come in, like you smell like actual scones and croissants and pancakes and fresh bacon
Hey,
and freshly squeezed orange juice, coffee. And as soon as you open the door, the halfling looks to you, and like you notice maybe a tiny little blush cross her face, as maybe she wasn't expecting you, and she like steadies herself up and she looks at you and she says, "Ah, good morning, ma'am. Ready for breakfast? I have food prepared."
Yes, but I would like to take it in my room today.
"Ah, of course. Let me prepare a platter for you, please. Would you like me to bring
Or
it to
two.
you?"
No, I'll take it.
"Ah, are you sure? The assistants are quite capable of doing such things for
No,
you."
no, I'll take it. Give me extra.
"Ah,
I'm
yes, of course. You must.
Famished.
Yes, it was a long night last night. I understand this." And so she like readies a platter and she hands you the whole thing, and she puts like one napkin. Like she folds one napkin down and she kind of looks at you, and she gives you a little wink and she grabs another napkin and folds it and puts it on the platter.
She just kind of turns me red for a second. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Have a good day."
You too.
Okay.
She goes back up with her tray of food.
Okay. So you and Elizabeth basically spend hours and hours, doing your morning things. Like you bring your food up. Do you wake up Alistair?
Oh yeah, she's gonna wake him up.
Okay. Yeah, and he doesn't want to
Maybe
wake
have
up.
a conversation with him.
Like he doesn't actually want to wake up. He's just like groaning and he doesn't want to get up. He's like, "No, come on, not yet. I'm not ready to get up." So what
Come
time
on.
is it? No, come on.
I've
He's-
got breakfast.
He's like, "Well, that's one of two things that might wake me up." And he like looks over and tries to gives you like a little sleepy wink.
Well, you can't get the second if you don't get up for the first.
It's like, "Yeah, that'll do." And he just like props himself up and starts like reaches over and starts to eat.
Good.
It's like, "It's not bad, not bad. You make this?"
No, I mean, I've started to learn how to cook, but I'm not very good at it yet.
He's like, "Whoa." He said, "Maybe one day you can actually cook me breakfast."
Perhaps. She just kind of cozies up to him a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, Alistair,
Boy.
there's something you've been bothering me a little bit.
And
There's
I
a
think-
man.
I think you, like when you say that, like you're kind of cuddled up to him and you can feel him kind of poking you. He's like, "Yeah, something's starting to bother me too."
No, that's not what I mean. Well, you know that there was a man murdered across the street from here?
"Yeah, I know. Of course."
He was on the rooftop.
"Well, yeah, he's
Do you
watching
know
your
who
house."
that was? Was that one of yours?
"Oh, God, no. No. He's one of the snakes. He was watching your house. He said one of
Oh.
my friends got. And he
Oh,
looks
that was
a
one of
little
your friends.
confused. It's like, I thought you knew. Wait,
No. The one that freaked Beth out.
yeah, no, that's my friend Yuki. She
Oh.
she brained your dude. She knocked him off the roof. It was doing you a favor, I thought.
No, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, she's a badass bitch, that one. Not as hot as
Mhm.
you. And he like slaps you on the ass. He's like, but
Hey.
she's got a talent, I promise you that. In fact, she was heading up to Waterdeep. Your friend asked for some
Really?
assistance, so I sent her. In hindsight, maybe not the best idea. She's prone to violence, but she gets the job done.
I mean, so am I, but I'm going anyways.
He's like, well, right now, I'm feeling a little prone.
I'm sure you are. I mean, I do have something else to ask.
All right.
I don't know if you know this, but I went to the tavern and you weren't there. And your bartender friend said something a little concerning.
Yeah, and he like cocks an eyebrow. He's like, nah, don't listen to him. He's a twat. No brains in his head.
He asked me if you'd knocked me out too.
And like I think he's like trying like putting food in his mouth and like he begins to choke. He's like, "What? No. Mm-mm. That's an old joke from when I was a lad. Times have changed." And
So you have knocked somebody out.
well, I mean, no. I was young, all right. We all make mistakes.
I know. I'm just curious. I trust you. I trust you to tell me the truth.
He's like, "Right, well, I sort of had a thing for working girls." And he like looks at you to see if you recognize what he means.
Mhm.
He's like, "Well, when I was young, you know, and I would get myself
Are
some
you-
coin, I would often spend some days down there, and I mean, there were maybe a couple mishaps or almost mishaps. I mean, I'm not going to lie about it, but you know, was what it was. I was a young man, you know. Got all that energy and seed, you know. You got to spread it around, right?
Yes.
Right. So you know, jokes kind of started, and back in the day, a couple girls came around to the pub saying, you know, that I was, you know,
Mm.
and yeah. So it's something of a joke down there. Hasn't happened in a while, I promise. I only have eyes for you.
You better.
He's like,
She
right,
just kind of elbows him gently.
yeah.
Especially since I'll be gone for so long.
It's like, wait, you asking me to wait for you?
Are you not willing to?
I don't know. How long are you going to be?
I don't know.
Well, how can I answer if you don't answer my question?
No? I don't know. Am I worth waiting for?
Like he slaps you on the rear again. He's like, given what I'm looking at right now, yeah, you are. Just don't be long, all right?
I'll try.
Yeah, and like he starts groping you, like he can't even resist himself at this point. Like it's just too much. So I imagine that you and Elizabeth basically spend your time up until about noon, I'm guessing, doing your business, right?
Yeah. Probably.
Probably a little before noon, Beth would stop things.
Okay. And of course, Elizabeth, I don't know if we have to go through it again, but Asher gives you the story, you know, gives you the business. He says, you know, like you need to make sure you get home, make sure, try to keep in touch, write letters, do whatever you need to, make sure you're safe, blah, blah, blah. And he tells...
And during this rigmarole, when he's kind of rambling on, is when she kind of... They're dressed at this point, you know, I think she's gotten like a more official kind of tour of the establishment. They've both showered or bathed. And she just kind of puts her hands on either side of his face and kind of locks eyes with him and goes, I'll do my best to send anything and everything that I can to let you know that I'm safe and that we're okay. I do love you. And I hope that when I return to the city, you'll still be here and still want me.
I don't think I'll ever stop wanting you.
And she'll kiss him.
Okay. Yeah, so there's like a long embrace, and it's not really sexual so much as it is intimate. Like he just doesn't want to let you go, but he does realize like he needs it. It's gonna happen. He's been ready for it.
Yeah.
And like as you guys are like you're getting dressed and everything. I imagine the dress is still there. Like, did you buy it or did you? I'm guessing you bought it.
Oh yeah, she totally bought it.
Okay, yeah. So it would still be hanging up, and he says, when you return, I'll take you out for a nice night in the town. Maybe we can have a double date with Selenda and Alistair. And he tries not to grimace when he says it.
And Beth will laugh. I think I'd like that. But first I have to get her home.
Indeed.
And again, I think there's going to be a lot of like 1 or 2 sentences of like, oh, when we get back. Oh, kiss.
Yeah.
Oh, when we get back.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, so it takes you some time.
It's slightly afternoon when she gets to the Icewing estate.
Okay. Selenda, how long, like, what happens with Alistair? Like, do you kick him out the window? Do you have him walk out, like, downstairs? Like, how do you...
She's gonna have him walk down the stairs with her.
Okay. And I should note, like, Alton, no one else has really, like, woken up, to your knowledge. The chefs, the cooks are in the kitchen, but Selenda's parents haven't come out of their room.
That doesn't surprise me nearly as much as it should.
Yeah, it really should.
I don't think that surprises Celinda either.
So I think, Alton, you're the only one who sees, like, well, maybe actually, Celinda and Alistair come down the stairs, Alton. You see them, or you hear them coming down the stairs. And probably about the same time as when I imagine Elizabeth is coming home.
Mm-hmm.
I would just go, meh.
Yeah.
Alton.
I hear the shouting and pause with my hand on the doorknob and wait.
Okay. And I think Alistair looks at you, Alton. He says, jealous, and gives you like a wink.
I just give a wide grin and go, not as much as you'd think.
And yeah, he looks a little confused. All right. And kind of like he heads for the door.
No, don't
As
leave.
Beth opens it.
Okay. He's like,
Don't leave, stay.
I thought you were leaving.
I am, but not right away.
All right.
Wait, we're not leaving yet? Then why'd I have to be home by noon?
I mean, we are. We've got things to do, but
I mean, and like, Valem, I'm guessing you're going to come collect everyone, right?
Like I said, after my prayers, I returned back to the estate. So if they're not there, I'm not sure what I would do. Go back to my inn, I guess.
we're there. We're just not doing anything productive.
That depends on
I was
how you
going to
look at
say, hold on a minute.
There's someone up on the roof, and I think that's it. Everyone else is.
Where did
hidden away.
Bellion go?
It wasn't hidden.
it. Okay, so what, like, Reginald, like, when are you arriving at the manor?
Mid to late morning, I think I would
So you'd probably
wake up and I'd pack. I'd get all my, like, put a extra soft pillow, travel, like.
Your orthopedic pillow.
I was just about to say exactly that, yeah. Okay, so you were probably hanging out with Alton, I imagine. You were probably there before everyone else was coming out of bed. So maybe you're there when Celinda and Alistair come downstairs, and Elizabeth comes home. And I think that Grigwin's probably floating around the house, like cleaning and doing more of like the fixing up of the house. And she sees you guys kind of gathered like in the foyer. And she kind of stops and looks at all of you. Like pointedly looks at you, Celinda, like, of course you had him sleep over.
Of course. She's probably holding his hand.
Mm-hmm. She says, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Do you know if Mother and Father will be awake soon? I don't want to leave without saying goodbye.
I will rouse them. And like, there's obviously a reluctance. So she kind of heads off, and like she's got like a laundry basket or something that she carries upstairs. And so you guys have like a couple minutes, and your mother and father come out, and Grigwin's with them. And they're not like fully dressed, like they're like fully covered, but they're not wearing like exceptional clothing. They've just thrown something on. And they kind of come downstairs, and they see like you and your friends, and your mother of course sees Alistair and tries not to make a note of it.
But she's totally making a note of it.
Yeah, and Callus kind of says, "Are you all leaving so soon? I guess I knew this was coming."
Well, yeah. I don't want to, Father, but I do have to help Balaam.
Of course, dear. I understand that you have debts to your friends, and debts are meant to be repaid.
I have to care about all of the people that I'm friends with.
And Sildar kind of cuts in. Yes, dear, your father wasn't arguing.
I'll be back. I promise.
I understand. Just
And she gives Alistair's hand a squeeze.
okay.
And Bethel gives Sildar a kind of a knowing look of like, I'll bring her back.
Okay. And Sildar says, "Have you all eaten? I know it's rather late. What time is it, in fact? Looks to be
Almost noon, Mother.
Yeah, and I think like your father sort of like pinches your mother, and she like yelps a little bit. She's saying, "Oh well, yes, you've probably eaten by now, I would think. So will you need anything before you go, or?"
Some money would be nice.
And she like rolls her eyes. She says, "Selenda, look at this house. Do you?"
I'm kidding, Mother.
Of course you are, dear. And she like comes over, and she tries to like embrace you, but she's gonna try to like remove your hand from Alistair's to do
Oh,
it.
she's not getting that. No.
Okay. So she gives you this like really awkward hug, and like holding on to Alistair's hand. And Alistair tries to let go, but you won't let him.
Nope.
So yeah, she hugs you, and she kind of looks, and she looks at Alistair and tries to give him like a smile and a nod. And Callus, looks to you and comes over and gives you a peck on the cheek and just tells you, just be safe. Come home soon, daughter. And like
I
he
will.
like holds onto Sildar's hand. Like this is obviously a pretty emotional moment for them.
I love you all so much. I'll be back. I promise.
All right, dear. And like there's like a knowing glance. I don't know if you see it between Sildar and Reginald. Like there's obviously an exchange there. Sildar gives you a Reginald a smile and a firm nod.
And I'll return it.
All right. So
If I may ask one more thing of your family,
oh yes, dear. Of course, anything.
don't suppose I could take some parchment, quill, and ink?
Oh, yes, of course. There's some in my writing desk. I'll be right back. And she like runs upstairs, and you see like as she turns to run up the stairs, Callus like smacks her on the rear as she runs up the stairs, and she just doesn't turn. Like you know that from the front she is so blushed. And Callus kind of turns back, and Callus like he has like no expression on his face. Like he's he's not grinning. Like that he wants to, but he won't. And she runs up the stairs, and there's there's like a brief couple seconds, and then you hear her come back down, and she's got kind of like a little folder for you, I guess. It's like a little carrying case, and it's got maybe like 10 pieces of parchment and some ink and a quill or 2 quills.
And Beth will thank her, and tuck it into her bag.
Okay. All right, so they kind of like say their goodbyes. Bellion, like at what point do you come down from the roof?
When they finally go outside. Like he's probably just sitting there waiting, sadly, for Alistair to go out the window to just totally extort him, but he doesn't go out.
Okay, so
He was
I meant
totally
yeah.
gonna
So we've got Bellion playing Batman, sitting on a gargoyle, watching down to wait for everyone to leave.
pretty much, yeah.
Okay, yeah, Alton, you kind of disappear in all the melee to go to the kitchen, and Yeah, she her assistants are there, and they're probably cleaning up after breakfast, maybe prepping for lunch. And she tries not to make a show of it, but she does come over to you and she grabs you by the hand and gives you a very firm kiss.
which I happily return, and I'll keep
Do
in
you
touch.
even know what her name is?
You never asked.
I imagine I got it at some point during the evening.
He's really bad about asking names.
We are
Yes.
all bad about asking names.
She's a
No,
halfling.
Jason in particular.
She's a halfling named Steve.
That is
That-
going in
A
the
halfling woman named Steve, which is a little weirder still.
Yeah, so yeah, she gives you a firm kiss, and she does tell you that her name is Arlinda.
All right.
Man.
I'll keep in touch, Charlinda.
Gee,
Move on
I
to
thought we
B,
discussed
dude.
this. I think he's doing it on purpose now.
Well, Belinda was taken.
And Cullinda just
That
sounds dirty.
reminds me, Sil's gonna go talk to Belinda before she leaves.
You don't know
She's
where
gonna
she is.
guess Well, she's gonna try and go to her apartment.
Yeah, the apartment is basically like roped off for investigative purposes. She's definitely not there.
Does Asher know? Well, maybe I'll just leave her a letter and have Asher.
If we go find Asher, we're not getting out of here today.
Well, I want her to know that if she is pregnant by that creep, she does not have to take him to her to his family. I want her to know that she can come to my parents if she needs help.
Okay, well you can leave a letter for her. That's fine.
All right.
Okay, so you guys are you all together at this point, except for Bellion, who's on the roof? Valem, are you with them?
Yeah, once I returned back to the estate, I imagine I just sort of waited patiently. Maybe if the kitchen staff was serving food, I would have eaten, but
Oh yeah,
And then that
you could
just
definitely
kind of-
find that they're more than they'll cook for you on demand, basically. So yeah, you could definitely get food. Absolutely.
yeah, that's about it. Just kind of waiting patiently.
Okay. So yeah, you guys all gather together, and what's the plan? So you're all back together, aside from Bellion, who's still on the roof.
We were going to go talk to the guy that has the control of the circle, right?
You tell me. If that's the plan.
I'm pretty sure that was
That
what
was
we
the
were going to
plan.
do. Yeah. We were
And I
gonna go
imagine
talk to-
Bellion would hop off the roof when she sees us leaving as a group.
Does this stoner dude have a name, or did we just never get that?
Yeah, you never asked.
We're gonna have to remember to ask him what his name.
I mean, I
Steve is
could-
definitely a stoner name.
Yes, his name is also Steve.
all right,
All
I'll put
right,
it
yeah.
down.
I'm
That's
kidding.
what we're going.
Don't.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to the outer city.
Okay. Yeah. So you guys all head back together. It's early morning. Well, no, actually, it's early afternoon at this point. Probably about 1:00. And you guys all make your way through the city. You you head back through Little Kalimshan into the outer city. It's been probably a couple days since you've been out here.
I should note that I asked Alistair to come with us.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so he's kind of hobbling along, and it's obvious. It becomes pretty obvious to you that that's funny. It becomes. Didn't we give him a name? Maybe not. That he doesn't like being out, especially during like high noon. Like it's really hot out. He's dressed in like all black, but he is making the effort for you, of course. Like he's just begrudgingly going with you.
It's our last day together.
Okay, so you guys all head out through the outer city, and you do notice, and as you guys get near the outer city, Alistair sort of pulls you aside, Selena, and says, "Look, I don't know why you're going out here, but you don't want to be here. It's bad territory, bad folk out here.
Have you been here recently?
Not recently, no.
Well, just trust me, okay? Give him
Yeah.
a little kiss.
All right." So like he begrudgingly, like he's still a little reluctant, like something seems to be dragging at him, but like he'll go with you. So you guys go through, and things are still slightly improved out here. More of the tents have been repaired. The streets seem to be cleaner. Some of the children look cleaner, which is surprising. Like some of the children and people you see moving through look like they've been bathing relatively recently. You still see some of those guards and what have you.
She nods to them.
I do think there's almost like not a war going on, but there's almost like a tug here because some of these people are definitely looking at you, Selenda, and giving you some nods and smiles. But some of them are looking at Valem and giving him some nods. Like
That's fine.
they seem to be like making a note to you, Valem. Like, you know, some of them are even like making kind of a hand gesture toward your holy symbol and giving you nods as they move through the outer city. But yeah, you guys are able to pass through, and you know you've been out here enough that you're able to find the tents, the kind of the maze of tents that will get you where you want to go. And so you start heading that way. You do immediately, of course. Yeah, I mean you see the smoke, no joke. Like you see it, you can start to smell it the closer you get. And Alistair is like, at this point, Alistair seems pretty uncomfortable, Selenda. He's like, all right, so how much further?
She points out the tent. It's right there. He's an associate of mine.
Oh. And like you say associate, and there's like a pause. He's like, wait, what kind of associate? Not like another.
No, he's a... I'll tell you about it later. He's not that. Ew.
All right. So you guys start to make your way through, and you can smell like the smoke as you approach. It's lighter than it's been in recent days, but it's still really palpable. So you kind of come through, and your stoner friend is like lounging with his like back to what is effectively a makeshift wall with a bunch of pillows. And he's just sitting there and his eyes are closed. And you see there's like kind of like a, you know, a bong kind of thing going on. And it's just like he's not smoking it presently, but it's just sort of burning. And his eyes open droopily. And immediately his eyes close, like he's trying to force them shut. No, man, no. He's like, listen, if I don't see you, you're not real. It's not real. I've had too much today. It's fine. Just breathe, dude. Just breathe. Like, breathe.
Come on, get up.
And like he's like, nope, my eyes are closed. You're not real. None of this is
Balin
real.
will take away your high again.
And like his eyes jerk up, and he raises his hands like in surrender. Like, no, fine. Just like. And Alistair's kind of peeking forward. He's like, oh, hey, mate, what you got there? And the stoner's like, you want some, dude? And like he actually kind of looks at you, Selenda. He's like, we could hang out for a while. What do you say?
I'm a little busy today.
All right. Do you mind if I hang out for a bit?
The Alistair, or I'm confused who's talking here.
Alistair is asking you if you care if he hangs out here after you leave.
That's fine.
Okay. Sure. So
Just try not to don't become like that.
and the stoner's like, it's cool, man. It's cool. I'll take care of him. Alistair's like, yeah, mate, he'll take care of me. And the stoner's like, all right, man, come on, let's get to it. He said, you going back to Everland, right? Let's go. And he starts to like,
No,
he pulls out like a
actually,
piece of chalk and he starts to like,
hang on.
he's like, what?
I'm actually wondering if you could take us to Waterdeep.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a whole system. Like, of course. What are you, like, new?
Yeah, I kind of am.
Are you sure, though, man? Waterdeep sucks.
It
Now,
does,
Alistair starts, like, ripping you. He's like, what? Sucks. He's like, I could send you so many places, man. Like, cool places.
No, I need to go to Waterdeep. We have business.
Are you sure? Because, like...
Yes. What is your name, by the way?
Me? I'm Marley. It's nice to meet you.
Oh, God.
Bob.
Who's
Is your
Bob?
first name Robert?
Bob was his dad's name.
No, man, my name's just Marley.
Okay. Well, Marley, we would really like to go to Waterdeep.
He's like, all right.
And she looks at Alistair. If my friend had a message he wanted to get me, could you help him with that
I mean,
while I'm gone?
No? Like, what do you mean? I don't understand.
Well, I have to leave. And if he needs to get a message to me, he's taking care of some things in the city for me.
Okay.
You know, sending. And she just kind of taps her head.
He's like, I mean,
You can do that, right?
I guess. Just feels like you guys are always making me do work, and I get like nothing out of it. This
Alistair.
sucks.
Could you help him out with some things?
Alistair's like, oi, mate, make you a trade. You give me some of that, I'll give you some of something.
You do work in procurement, after all.
Yes,
That's
you
right, I do. Marley's like, procurement, man, that sounds awesome. You should tell me about that.
Oh, God.
And like
You
he's
I
just
come
like,
back
gave
here
the
and
guild
Alistair-
a teleportation circle to all the other cities.
yeah, you kind of did. And so
Drug trade.
the stoner, like, he keeps interrupting himself as he's drawing the circle. Like, he's trying to draw the circle out, and then Alistair keeps interrupting him, and he's like, listen, man, I need to focus. Like, I can't concentrate right now. It's really, like, hard to think in here, man. But he keeps touching his head when he says it.
Yeah, she draws Alistair back. He needs to finish that.
Yeah, and, like, Marley just, like, keeps putting the chalk down. And it takes him, like, a good minute, and you see he's like, all right, man, all aboard.
Everybody ready?
No.
Question. We don't even recognize what he drew.
I mean, are you trying to, like, memorize it, or?
I think it takes a minute to memorize a sigil.
It does. I'm just trying to figure out if you know what he's doing because
Can I
no
memorize
one's
the sigil?
warned about where we're going.
Well, I mean, you could, Bellion, make me an Arcana check, sure. Yeah, Bellion, you've heard stories about this. You've heard stories about teleportation circles. You don't know, given the runes specifically, if it's going to send you to Waterdeep. You know it's going to send you somewhere.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
I'm gonna take a minute and memorize the sigil to this circle.
All right. Well, so if you can do that, like, as he's drawing it. You can try to memorize
I
it.
don't have the spell now, but I hopefully
Right.
will in the future.
So make me an intelligence check.
Okay.
Okay.
11.
We'll try to remember that and see how that pans out in the future for you. Okay, so he's done and he looks at you. He's like, all right, man. Well, we doing this or what?
Yes, and she just turns to Alistair.
Okay.
Miss you.
He's like, yeah, and he, like, leans into you. He's like, I really want to see you again, all right? Don't get yourself killed.
I'll try not to. I can't promise.
He's like, I really wish you would, but
I'm a little reckless for that.
he said, well, you're attracted to me, so you're not got a great amount of common sense. And he lays into you, like he puts, like, a hard kiss in you, like.
Oh yeah, she's got her arms wrapped around him.
Okay.
Kissing back.
So, like, does everyone step into the circle?
Before we do, I want to remind everyone that the Zentarum are going to be watching us. So the second that we get there, just assume that they have eyes on us.
Yes.
Watching you.
Well, you guys are a group, so it's probably safe to assume they know about everyone in the group.
Well,
Well,
if he
that's
says that, I
fine.
don't even respond to it. But
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So you guys all step into the circle, and Alistair, I think he kind of blows you a kiss, Selenda, as you're going. Like, he definitely, like, smacks your ass as you're leaving. And Marley, like, looks at all of you. He's like, all right, man, have a nice trip. And, like, puts his arms up, like, in celebration. And I'm trying to work. I know Elizabeth has done this, Selenda, and Valem. I think that's it. Right?
I think so.
Okay. So, I need, let's say, all 6 of you. No. Reginald, Alton, Bellion, make me Constitution saves. Oh, nice.
Whew.
Nice.
Iron stomach.
Okay.
Bye.
So, everything kind of blinks out of existence for a moment. Like, there's a brilliant flash of light. Everything swallows into darkness. And then the light like as the last time you recall, like everything sort of lit up again. That doesn't happen this time. I think you guys can probably hear who has dark vision aside from Selena. Anybody? I don't think anybody.
I'm the only one.
Yeah, because Draja didn't have it either. I don't know why.
Yeah.
No.
So
He
yeah,
had that like super long vision.
right.
Yeah, I had mile vision.
So I think Selena, you're the only one who can really see much of anything, and your eyes are all trying to adjust. Selena's adjust faster, the first thing you sort of recognize, like in terms of sensation, is there's a couple things. One, initially, as the darkness, you guys are all trying to adapt to this darkness. There seems to be kind of a palpable silence in this room. A silence I think none of you have ever really felt before. And then almost out of nowhere, you start to hear Alton like groaning because Alton, you are prone on the ground feeling sick as a dog. Because this sensation that you just went through was god awful. Like it feels like you were on a roller coaster ride that just dropped out from under you and it hasn't quite stopped yet. Like the world is still spinning for you. So there's this unbelievable, almost like silence. And then you hear Alton like groaning and maybe trying to retch on the ground.
I
I
cast
most assuredly
light.
retch on the ground, and
Yeah.
oh gods, I thought storms were bad.
Okay.
I'm casting light.
So Selena, you start to cast light. All of you actually have to blink because this is like almost too sharp a contrast. So the room lights up. Selena, you're the first one who's able to really see much of anything. This room is, even with the light, like even with your dark vision before the light, this room is entirely like gray. Just dark slate grays. Maybe speckled here and there with a little bit of marble. And it's cold. Like unusually cold. And as you like bring the lights up in front of you, you guys hear kind of a voice coming from behind you. And it sounds like a female. And she says, "Welcome to Waterdeep. Doors that way." And as you guys turn, you see this young elfin woman. And she's got like a thick tome in her lap. And she's just sitting in like a chair. It's very plain looking. And she's just basically sitting in the darkness, reading this book. And you guys start to see, and she's pointing in like the opposite direction away from you. It becomes pretty clear here. Well, I don't know if it's clear. Anyone who wants to make me a, I guess let's say, either an intelligence check, I think, or a religion check. Balaam, I think you have advantage here.
One's really shitty and one's really good.
So Selenda, because you're the first one to see everything, because you have dark vision, and Balaam, this is not a familiar sight, but you recognize it. You've been in something like this before. Selenda and Balaam, you realize you're in a crypt. What you're starting to notice as detail is starting to kind of flood into you is that this seems to be an underground crypt. It explains the cold. It explains the silence. There are pillars that seem to be like holding up the roof. You see what should be like platforms or maybe even holes in the sides where you might put caskets, but those are all, they do actually have caskets and coffins on them, but there's no strange smell. And the elven woman behind you is just kind of watching you.
Oh, that was quick.
And the elven woman says, "Yes, that's how teleportation works." She said, "If you don't mind." And she's still like gesturing at the door.
She just nods to her very politely. Thank you.
Okay. So you guys see that there's like a staircase that starts to lead up, but it leads up to a stone slab. Like there's no way for you to get out.
Question.
How do we get out?
And like you can hear just a slight echo as she sighs. And she speaks loudly but doesn't yell. "Myrna." And suddenly you guys all hear this "Zhoosh," and the boulder starts to roll back.
What
And you
is
start
your
seeing-
name?
What's that?
Myrna,
Yeah.
what's your name?
And yeah, so the thing pulls back. This heavy stone slab pulls back, revealing what looks to be like maybe another level of a crypt. Like you're not immediately outside.
Okay. So we're kind of like in the, what's it called? Mausoleum part.
Yeah, you're basically like in what would be the first floor.
All right. Just find another door, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, it's not hard for you because you still have your light spell, and you are able to find a door that you can't see any light coming from. Um, oh shit! Did I never do that? Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, damn it. Yeah, and so who opens the door?
Actually, I'm gonna go back down to talk with the elf for a second, and she'll just be like, "Give me a minute. I need to talk with her."
Okay. Like, are you guys all going up? Like from?
Yes.
Okay. So like as soon as you're all up, as you turn around, Celinda, you see what appears to be a large stone shape that is actually starting to lower that slab back down.
Wait.
And it just keeps moving.
Come on, man.
Come on, Celinda.
Well, I wanted to see if there was. Fine.
She gave you the password to open it, you know.
I know. I just wanted. I can't really tell you. So she just kind of like.
Okay. So you guys come out, and you open the door. This is probably a shit map, and I shouldn't have used this one. Oh, that's on the wrong layer.
I think it's better than the last one we had.
I don't know, but we'll find out. So you guys are effectively in Valem. Immediately, you recognize where you are. Yeah, you're in the cemetery of Waterdeep.
The City of the Dead.
Exactly. Thank you. I apparently closed my Sword Coast Adventures guide, so I'm going to reopen that.
Does that mean there's lots of like Raven Queen churches around?
It's beautiful here, actually. This is
Probably gorgeous here. It's probably like Gothic churches and.
It's well tended to. Like it's clean. There are freshly placed flowers. Yeah, it's beautiful considering what it is.
Maybe because of what it is.
So okay, and it is afternoon, and as you exit this mausoleum, like I think you do see like a couple gardeners off in the distance who are like mowing the lawn, as it were, and a couple of them turn, and two of them like looked really spooked. One of them not so much. Like they're not surprised by you just walking out of a mausoleum in broad daylight. So what do you want to do? You're in Waterdeep. Welcome.
Well,
Welcome home.
Well, Valem, this is your show.
right. We, as I stated, we definitely can't go straight to my family's tavern. As like I said again, we're very likely being watched. I would make the recommendation we perhaps would take solace at the temple if they'll take us in, while we devise a plan.
Whatever you say, Valem. We're here to help your family and keep them as safe as possible while we take care of business.
I go to Alton
Hmm?
if he's recovered from his vomiting fit.
Mostly.
My friend, your companion, can he speak to you out of your presence?
Within a couple of feet, within 100 feet or so.
He seems to have a bit of an advantage over the rest of us. Would you would you be willing to send him on a reconnaissance mission to get an idea of what we'll be dealing with?
I would, but I'd need to know where to send him. I'd need to actually be able to point it out, or what's the name of the place and what general direction.
I'm going to go ahead. I'll give you directions. It's located in the North Ward. It's called the Old Fox, and I'll give you like directions, street names, and all that to the best of my ability to give you guidance to get there.
All right, and I will summon O's and give him the basic directions and go fly, fly, my pretty.
Okay. Sure.
Invisibly fly, my pretty.
Could always send him as a raven, but yeah, that's fine. Okay, so he disappears off in the distance. What are the rest of you doing while Oz is scouting?
Again, what I'm going to recommend is that before doing anything else, we try to seek solace at the Spires of the Morning in the Castle Ward. So more or less just heading straight west.
That sounds like a plan.
Okay, sure. All right, so yeah, I mean, broad daylight, Waterdeep. The city is hustle and bustle. All right, there isn't an inch of this city street that isn't, consumed by people or retail or crafting of some kind. Waterdeep is a busy metropolitan is the word I was looking for, metropolitan city. But you guys pass through the city relatively easily, right? Like, nobody really gives you pause. People probably are yelling at you because, people recognize adventurers. So people are definitely trying to sell you wares. You got like hawkers trying to sell you swords, and Elizabeth, people are yelling at you to sell you ammunition, sell you ammo, and what have you. You guys make your way west toward the Spires of the Morning. Valem, like, how does it make Valem feel after having been gone for so long to be returning?
It's bittersweet. Obviously, he's back in his hometown, but due to the circumstances, it's really weighing heavily on him. Again, other than just the instructions that I gave, he's really not making small talk. He's not looking around or anything like that. He's just very intent on what we're here to do, and that's pretty much it.
Okay. Yeah. So as you approach the Spires of the Morning, maybe for some of you, this is a shocking sight, right? For those of you who, especially maybe Belly and I imagine, maybe Alton as well, you've probably never seen anything like the Spires before. It's quite a sight to behold. It stands tall, and I imagine, I don't know if this is canon, I don't care. I imagine it stands tall and like polished white with a gleam, like the sun reflects off of the spires. It's unusual architecture to be sure, and it seems sturdy and well made. And as you approach, you do see a couple like apprentices and acolytes outside who, are offering people prayers and well wishes. And as you guys approach, I think two of the acolytes kind of break off Valem, and they kind of beeline for you. And they're two humans, a man and a woman, and the woman approaches you. She's, I don't know, probably, let's say, like in her early 30s, maybe. Kind of homely looking. And she walks directly up to you. She says, "Welcome home, brother. Whatever you require, our aid is here for you, as you know." Said,
That is great to see as well. We do appreciate your hospitality. I am in need of temporary solace while we're in town. If there is a more private place that we can speak.
Of course, brother. Of course. I don't think I would be the one for you to speak with, but I can of course escort you. Please, if you wish, I will carry your burden for you. And she's like offering to carry your weapons or your bag or anything like that. If you're willing to hand it over.
No, I kind of wave my hand knowingly, just smile.
Hmm. Yeah, and she nods. You know, she respects it. Please, this way. Your friends will all be joining us as well.
Yes, I kind of just turn in motion to them.
Okay. Yeah, so they begin escorting you into the spires of the morning, and you know, compared to outside in the city streets, this place is basically a heaven, right? It's quiet, it's peaceful. You do see people moving around, but you know, it's very quiet. You do see, and Valem, I think you recognize immediately. You do see people that you know because of their garb that they are students here, much like you have been in your time.
Hmm.
Um, you know, some of them, and you can see that there's like different focuses. So people who study medicine, as you did, some who study theology, and you do get like nods from everybody as they see you, you know, with your armor and your holy symbol. And the young woman, well, youngish woman who is escorting you through, she says, "Excuse me, please, right this way. I will attempt to take you to someone who is better able to assist you than I." And
Much.
you know that there's like an area where there's like offices kind of things where the higher clergy might you know do their work.
Okay.
And you head, and there's like a long hallway of doors, and as you know, like there's a section of the building where all of the windows would face east, right, for the rising sun, and this is where of
Hmm.
course the higher clergy would often want to work. And so there's a row of doors all on the right side, and um, she heads down like three doors, stops, waits, and then continues down another set of doors. And she turns back and she kind of whispers, "I apologize, brother. It's hard to navigate these halls, as I'm sure you recall."
It's a big place. It's a big place. It's understandable.
Okay. Um, so she says, just a moment, please. Your name, brother?"
My name is Valem. Valem Maris.
"I see. Just a moment, please. If you all just wait." And she knocks on the door very gently, and you hear from the other side a very muffled voice just says, "Enter." And the woman disappears, and there's a minute um, where you guys are just kind of hanging out in the hallway. And then the young woman comes out, and she opens the door, and she basically makes a gesture like she's holding the door. She says, "Brother Valem, Sister Serena will speak with you now. She would wish that she speaks with you alone, unless you wish your friends to be present."
I turn to face my companions and I say, I think it would be wise to bid the sister's wishes. Let me go in and speak with her. Um, I look back at the priestess that led us here, and I ask if she can take them somewhere, a seating room, something like that, so they're not just standing in the hall.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a pause, and she seems to be thinking, and she says, "Yes, brother, of course. I will take them to the solarium if that is all right with you."
That would be wonderful. Thank you.
"Thank you." And she, like, as you like enter, that you know, she closes the door. She says to the rest of you, "If you would all please join me." And she begins like heading back the way you came.
All right, follow after.
Yeah, following after her.
Yeah, Valem, as you enter, you know, you kind of know what to expect. But there is, of course, a large window here. It's almost the size of the wall that lets natural sunlight in. And so the sister, the priestess who is sitting at a desk, is backlit. So she almost appears to have a natural glow, which, again, you've seen this before.
Mhm.
A relatively thin-looking woman, maybe a little bookish even. Brown hair, shoulder length. She has what appears to be like spectacles of some variety, kind of lower on her nose. She looks up to you. Why, hello, Brother Valem. We've not met. Would you sit? And of course, there's seats in front of the desk.
Thank you very much, sister. I kind of motion to my holy symbol, and it's like a motion of reverence, and I have a seat in front of her.
Mm-hmm. She says, as I said, we've not met for quite some time. That's not what she says. She says we've not met.
Okay.
Sorry. I am Sister Serena. It's nice to see a fellow brother home.
Well, it's great to meet you as well, Serena.
May I ask how you've been bringing light to the world?
I have been traveling. As you may be aware, the giant Ordning has been wreaking havoc across the Sword Coast, and it was my initial mission to assist in resolving this matter. I've recently been to Baldur's Gate, where, due to a few altercations during our travels, we ran into some issues with the Zentarum. And the Zentarum are now holding my family captive.
And like when you say the Zentarum, she raises a hand to you as if to silence you. She said, "Brother, I appreciate that you must tell me your story, and I have every intention of listening to every word, but I would ask that you not use that word here. That word is unholy, as you know, that organization." And like she seems like she's getting a little riled up when you say it. And then you continue like to talk, you say about your family.
Yeah, I'm definitely not referring to them in reverence. That's for sure. This wicked group is holding my family hostage, and I am requesting that we are allowed to seek solace. They are more than likely watching me, and I don't wish to endanger my family by doing anything that they deem as hostile towards them. So until we're able to come up with a plan to efficiently resolve this problem, if you're able to assist us in, again, in the means of solace.
She says, "You always have a room here, brother, always. And if we can assist you in cleansing the world of that foul stench, I am more than happy to offer you what assistance I can. These friends of yours, I must ask, they won't be troublesome to us, will they?"
Absolutely not. They are trusted companions, and I assure you that they won't be any bother.
I'm afraid I'm at a loss for words. That there have been many stories of them. We've lost brothers and sisters to them, from what I've been told. Unfortunately, strong as you are, I was never one for field work. I know my role here is important, but oh, what I wouldn't give to be in your position, brother. To smite them as they deserve. And like she seems, as she's saying it, like she's like fantasizing about it. Like she's getting almost a little excited. She says,
She's getting wet.
"Oh, don't." She says,
I was thinking the same thing.
"Aside from shelter for you and your friends, tell me what I need to do. What can I do? What must we do?"
I certainly can't ask any of you to risk yourselves over something like this. You surely you understand this is something that's going to be very personal to me. During my prayers this morning, I spoke with Lathander, and I asked for his wisdom. What's happening is sheer wickedness, and those involved will be punished. And I realize that this evil doesn't grant me a license for vengeance, but my retribution will be swift here. And I don't wish anyone else to get hurt that doesn't need to be. So although I do appreciate your offer, this is something that we need to do on our own.
Of course. I respect this desire. Again, I will have room set aside. They may not be very comfortable, unfortunately. We are not, as you well know, an inn or a tavern, but he said we will make accommodations for you.
Any accommodations will be fine. We're certainly not here for comfort.
Of course, of course. Well, I will be here. I can be your contact in the city, if unless of course you prefer someone else. I'm sorry about my outburst earlier.
No, sister, I appreciate everything. If there's anything I need, I will certainly be in contact.
Please do. And she steps up, and you see like the glow seems to follow her as she stands up, from the window.
Mhm.
And she kind of escorts you to the door. Be safe, brother. Walk always in the light.
And also with you. And then I head back to
Okay.
the solarium.
Okay, so yeah, and the young woman has escorted the rest of you to a solarium, which is just a room with a shit ton of windows in the ceiling. So this whole room is very well lit. There's maybe a few plants put out. There's even like a fountain in the center of the room. There is a large holy symbol on the west wall of the solarium that has the holy symbol of Lathander on it, so that whenever the sun comes through, the holy symbol gets lit up by the sun. And the young woman tells you, bids that you wait. There's a few benches. It's not super comfortable, but it's clean and relatively quiet aside from the sound of the fountain. Are you guys doing anything?
Just talking.
Girl talk.
Yeah, I see that. Anyone else?
I was just
Did Belly
pacing,
come with
looking
us?
around.
He did come with us, right?
Yeah.
Belly, and what were you doing all night?
Watching you get it on.
No.
He was trying to discern between the echoes from Celinda's room and the echoes from the parents' room.
Oh,
Dear
God.
God.
And
Who was
Alton's
making
room.
which sounds.
Oh, and Alton's room, yes.
And Alton's room. Yeah.
I was tending to some things. I had to fix my armor and sharpen things and had some quality me time.
Polishing his armor. Is that what they're calling it?
Fixing my armor. Woman.
Did you check the roof out?
Yes. I've been sleeping up there for a while now.
That's where you went, huh?
Yeah.
Did you find my spot?
It is still there.
Is it nice?
Who is Joshua though? That's all I want to know. Someone carved his name there? I'm assuming it was you.
Yeah. I was only like 10.
Wow, you started early.
I like boys. I mean, I like girls too, but
I want to mention there was some very strange person flying around last night close to your window.
she goes beet red. Yeah.
He was interrupting a good conversation I was having.
And then miraculously, Alistair managed to walk out the front door twice.
That is amazing. I do not know how that happened at all.
I don't know either.
Apparently he can fly, I guess. We'll talk about that later.
I'd rather not. Not with you. Not unless you give me that wonderful wolf pelt of yours. But anyways,
No.
Valeb's back, right?
Yeah, so I imagine about this time, like Valem, you've navigated, and you're familiar enough with the spires that you don't require an escort. And I should mention, you know that your friends, like without an escort, they're going to get lost here.
That'll be fun.
Oh God.
I'm gonna go look for a bathroom.
Well,
I'm gonna idly ask one of the members of the church if the church requires vows of celibacy.
I mean, that young woman, like, she wouldn't have just like abandoned you there. Like, she might be like standing away from you to give you your privacy. When you ask that, she just straight up blushes and like, chokes on her words, but she does manage to choke out like, no, no, of course not.
I've met one that did. I wanted to make sure.
Were you interested in joining the church, sir?
Oh no, while I fully admit that all of the gods have their place, I more or less owe my life to the one that pulled me out of the ocean. So,
Ah, so you're spoken for then. I understand. And yeah, she kind of like wanders off. Yeah, and so Valem, you make your way back to your friends.
Once I come back, I kind of huddle everybody up. Gather round, gather round.
Yes, sir.
I put
I
my
s-
arms around your shoulders, but I can't reach.
I
Lift them
spoke
up
with
so-
I spoke with Sister Serena, and she is going to grant us rooms, so we will be safe in this area while we more or less put together a plan on what to do. Like I said before, this is likely going to be dangerous. We really don't know what we're getting into right now. I can't ask any of you to do this, so
Balaam.
unless you're doing this on your
Balaam.
own fair will,
Yeah, no.
I won't ask you to do this.
You've
love
been
you,
there for
Balaam.
us. Besides, we're probably in no more danger here than we have been since Nightstone.
Not only that, but your parents and your sisters are so nice.
I just want to piss off the Zentarum, and quite frankly, y'all have treated me quite well.
Also, I'm kind of counting on your family having a tavern too. You know.
Oi.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I run a business, you guys.
Priorities. Priorities.
You're all kids, I know it, but some of us have real responsibilities.
Hey, I have responsibilities.
Valem's only like half your age, not like a third of your age, so he's not a big kid.
You're only doing what I'm doing.
Something that you guys might enjoy, and it might throw off and I kind of whisper when I say this in term, might throw off them from our trail. There is a beach just northwest of here. Perhaps we'd spend the day out there while we contemplate what to do.
Wait, are you suggesting we go to the beach?
I am. Because
Are you
they
sure
won't
you're
plan on us
okay?
doing that.
Seems like an odd way to help your family.
I mean, if that's what you really want to do, I'm not going to argue, but
Again, this is to put this interim off of our trail. If we just go straight there or in other directions, they're going to expect that. They're not going to expect us to leave the outer wall to head to the beach to discuss what our plans are.
Why don't we
meanwhile,
just
you can
discuss our
have
plans right here.
O's check on your family.
Oh, he is checking on his family.
Well, so
boy.
now I was going to ask about this because I think we established that you can't see through his eyes without taking an action to do so, and he has to be within a mile of you.
Yes, no, he's able to act independently, and he is intelligent. He's not, a raven, so it works out a lot better. He can make decisions, and he can read.
Hmm.
Does
But
he
I
speak
won't
common?
actually. Yeah, he's an imp. Speaks common and infernal.
So I could cast sending towards him as well.
So can I. So
Yeah.
it's just one of those. Right now, he's just off trying to find the place and then come back. But if it's water deep, it's a big place. Even flying is
Mhm.
going to take some time.
Okay.
The other option we have is that I can make 3 of us invisible at any given time. So we could walk there. We could leave without ever being seen. And that's also assuming they know where we are. We did kind of teleport into a random crypt in the city.
That is another option if we get close. We can see them, they can't see us for quite some time. Get on the top rooftop and watch for a while.
And again, the other thing that we think we've learned in Baldur's Gate is that they have eyes everywhere. So even though we've sought solace here, it doesn't mean that we're 100% safe.
Alistair has a contact here. We should see about getting hold of her.
Okay, so what's the plan? It's going to take a little bit of time yet for Oz to it'll take him some time to find it and come back, so I'm just going to give that some time.
Yeah.
But in the meanwhile, ...
I mean, if you guys are against my plan, again, that was my plan, is heading out to an isolated beach so we could talk
Oh,
about
sounds
things.
fine.
If you'd like to do it here, I mean, we can, but
I mean, the beach
there's
will
no
be
saying.
open.
How far is the beach?
You might get some distracted
South of town.
girls at the beach, so
It's not warm out here anymore, right? Like,
My
it's-
understanding is the Spires is north of the mountains, so this should be it, like right in here.
Yeah,
So
you're
the
not far
beach
from
is
the beach.
literally right out here.
But to answer Bellion's question, Bellion, it's not even cold here. But to you, you might as well be in well, no, actually no, because you feel better, Bellion. Like I
it's not a
imagine the
furnace.
Baldur's Gate was a furnace. This place is maybe because you're much further north. So I imagine it's probably, let's say,
It's a summer's day.
well,
for me.
it's. I mean, it's actually for me, it's like perfect weather. It's like 60, 65.
Oh, it's
that
a
sounds
summer's day.
perfect.
Yeah, it's a summer's day for me. Yeah, I get you, but it's not sweltering heat. I like it.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
Perfect.
this is a great improvement for you, Bellion, for sure.
It's not the best, but it's livable.
Mm.
I think it sounds great.
Okay.
Yeah. I
I
can't
have no
promise I won't get
objections.
distracted wanting to swim though.
I will mention if we want to get back in town and we want to go through the streets and stuff, we can do that later as well. I can get
That's
you
my
that.
only worry is being on the street.
Did
The
anybody
Zentarum
bring
probably
their
will
bathing
find
suit?
us. I'm a
Bathing suit.
sailor.
What is it?
Everything I
What
wear
is
is
a
a
bathing
bathing
suit?
suit.
And again, my reason for going to an isolated beach, there's nowhere for them to, no buildings for them to hide around.
Do you not
to
trust
stand
the,
upon.
Do you not trust these people here?
Obviously, I trust the clergy, but the Zentarum can get anywhere.
So
They
not
got into the
entire-
jail in Baldur's Gate.
I got it into the jail.
You
got
guys
thrown
by
in.
choice.
I was gonna say you didn't get.
I mean, he's technically correct, but yeah.
Different way, but I got in the jail.
You didn't get in the jail, murder somebody, and then get out without nobody noticing it.
Let's
Okay,
go to
let's
the
put it that
No
way.
one told me to do that.
Speaking of which, did any of you hear the gruesome details of how he died?
No,
I heard.
No,
No.
you're listening.
I didn't. I don't really ask Asher about work.
I don't really ask Alistair about work either.
Apparently,
Actually, I thought I told everybody about that.
Not yet. We hadn't all been
No.
together again, really yet.
I mean, you told us about your family, but I don't think you told them about.
No, because that's why we went looking for the warlock.
yeah, you told us that. I think you just said that
That Magnus killed.
that he was killed, and that by the look of it,
was-
it was probably the warlock.
But you didn't
Oh,
give
yeah.
detail.
Not to bring them down, but apparently his eyes were like melted from his skull. So
Ooh.
if
Lovely.
this warlock we're after is the one who did it,
We might want to invest in glasses.
Does that sound familiar at all?
Or
Yeah, would I know anything about that? Considering if it's a warlock and eye melting.
You could make me a. I should stop the stream for this, but that's okay. You can make me a check. Let's. What kind of check would be fair here? That is
Is it
not
like-
the character I wanted.
you've already
Magic
flashed
spell?
his character sheet a couple of times, so I don't think you have to worry.
Well, there's one specific detail. I don't know if you guys would have seen it. Yeah, I mean, I'll let you make an Arcana check out. Let's say that.
What you need is another screen.
I know nothing.
I know. Well, I need another monitor, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I play on a laptop, so that's not really possible at the moment.
I mean, I do too, but I also have a second screen hooked up to my laptop.
So yeah, so Alton, you can't recall anything of or relating specifically to someone's eyes being basically burned out of their skull.
Can I do an Arcana check?
I don't think there's a specific reason Alton is getting a roll here that I'm not going to get
Okay.
into without. Yeah, so I don't think so, because it has something to do with more than just the magic. Okay, so yeah, what's the plan? You guys are hanging out. I think what happens here is you guys are kind of hanging out in the solarium, and people are coming and going. And Valem, as you well know, in the Spires of Morning, sometimes people will come here and they make kind of a devotion, a tithe, right? And sometimes they can, it's a weird sort of trade because the church doesn't necessarily like take money, but they take tithes, and then in exchange they might heal somebody, right?
Right.
Now their healing powers are limited depending on what's happened to somebody, but this is not uncommon for people to come in and request medical aid. And I think as you guys have probably been here like maybe an hour and a half, and I picture, unless you say otherwise, you've been hanging out in the solarium. And this is a pretty, there's a lot of people coming and going in this general region, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think as you guys, some people are coming and people are definitely noticing you, but nobody seems to be like focused on you or anything like that. Some time passes, you guys are still trying to figure out what to do. And you hear kind of a quiet, like muffled gasp. Anybody who wants to can make a perception check. Holy Christ.
I'm even proficient. I only have a +2. Bring it, guys.
Bellion, Selenda, and Reginald. You guys kind of hear this and you turn and you see like a young woman. She's probably in her late teens. She's wearing this kind of specific kind of garb, and we'll roll to see if oh, Valem, yeah, you're passive. Yeah, I always forget about that. Yeah, and Valem, you're probably paying attention because you know where you are, and it's kind of nice for you to be home, I imagine. Well, under the circumstances, maybe not. And you guys turn and you see this young woman kind of, and she's got her hands covering her mouth, and she gasps, and she just like immediately turns, and she tries to be subtle about it, and she turns to walk away. Let's say Selenda, Bellion. No, hang on. I can't imagine Selenda would have the ability to do this. Valem definitely.
Do what?
You don't know what. Reginald, because I don't think you have the life experience. Yeah, Valem, Reginald.
I'm trying to say I'm sheltered.
Yes, I am. Bellion, yeah, Bellion, Reginald, and Valem make, let's say, intelligence checks. Let me see if I want to add a modifier to that.
Not history checks by chance? Or?
It's not. Well, I mean, no, because it's more about like memory recall. I don't know that history is necessarily going to help you there.
I will mention that I am younger and less experienced than Selenda.
I'm also 25.
Yeah,
Damn it.
I'm younger than her.
Okay, well, then since you said that,
Yeah.
Bellion, like what have you? I feel like see this is screwed up because I
He's
don't.
definitely lived an orphan tumble life, but it's in a small city.
Well,
Very
so
small.
here's the question for you, Bellion, and this is gonna turn out how this goes. You all see her, Bellion. Like what sort of experience did you seek out when you came to this land?
Honestly, he was looking for good stories.
Where would he go for good stories?
Every tavern in existence, every single one that they've gone by.
He went tavern hopping.
He has gone tavern hopping for the past 6 months with another caravan, yes.
Okay.
They've been traveling. He need to make money too.
So, I think Bellion, you kind of being a foreigner, it's difficult for you to put it together. The clothing she's wearing seems, let's say, revealing in a way
Oh,
that maybe John has already put together.
oh yeah, yeah. I get you.
Um, yeah,
Oh, he know what those are.
I think he would too. Like you would probably find yourself in a brothel.
Oh, multiple
I
times.
feel like
surely.
Celinda would know what a brothel is.
You're saying Celinda's been in a brothel?
Probably with ghosts at least once.
Wow. Okay.
Whoa.
We were in one in Waterdeep before.
Yeah, but Celinda wasn't with you.
Yes, Linda and Beth said this is when your sisters put Beth.
I mean,
up in the
Celinda
car.
was traveling
gotcha.
with ghosts for a year.
Oh my.
Okay. So yeah, so
Okay.
Belling, you're able to kind of put it together about how she's dressed. That doesn't necessarily tell you much, but it gives you an indication.
Say straight out. Lathendid is very welcoming of all types of penalty.
What?
Just pure confusion as he stares at this ass walking away.
Okay, so you tell the group, like,
I make mention of it, yes. Like I'm just like, they're very welcoming here. Wow.
yeah, and I mean, Valem, you kind of catch the tail end as like you're watching her walk, like kind of like what's the word I want to use here? Like scamper
Sachet.
off, scamper.
Is it obvious she's walking away from us? Like
Oh,
she
yeah,
saw
yeah,
us
yeah.
and
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
yeah, I tear off after her.
Okay,
She looked surprised at seeing us.
I mean,
Balaam starts running. Beth starts running.
okay, sure. So she's like, by the time you realize what's going on and you take off after her, she's basically running like full bore, to get out. Like as soon as you get out the door, and you run to the front door. You can still see her, so you can still give chase.
Stop.
Ooh, nice.
Excuse me.
Where are we going?
What do I have to roll? What's the
Wisdom saving throw 15.
Okay, so she's running, and you see one of the acolytes out front yell, "Miss, are you all right?" And then suddenly, like her whole body just lurches to a stop. And like a bunch of the other people on the road see this, and like a crowd starts very tentatively to form. And I think the woman is like aware, like she turns her head and looks, and you see like she's starting to look panicked.
That only lasts 60 seconds. Run after her.
You mean 6.
Like you
Or
can catch.
6 seconds, I mean. Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, but like she's at this point, like she is stopped. What do you want to do? Like
I mean, yeah, if we were full bolt after like sprinting, do I get to her?
yeah, for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I'm basically gonna not throttle her, like manhandle her, but I'm definitely gonna put my hands across her shoulders, turn her around, and move her back inside.
Okay, so you start to move her back, and she immediately starts to cry, like heavily. She's like starting to cry, and through her tears, she's saying, "I don't want to die. I don't want to die." And like the acolytes are looking at you, Valem, like not actively freaking out, but they're watching with an intensity that you're not accustomed to.
You've
Mhm.
been here one day and you're already making girls cry.
Yeah, it happens.
You.
I try to calm her down a bit, but definitely keep moving her into the temple.
Yeah, so like the tears are still streaming down. She's not like screaming anymore, but she's still like shuddering and she's very scared.
I want to take her, definitely not back to the public area like the solarium or something, but if we were given rooms, if that's the most private place to go, I want to take her to where I know no one's just going to walk through or anything like that.
Okay, yeah, and you know generally like where the rooms would be, and I think that the kind of hubbub brings in a couple other acolytes, and the young woman acolyte who escorted you and sees you, and she appears to be like with another civilian, and she excuses herself and she comes over to you and she says, "Brother, please, what is happening here? Is she all right?"
She's perfectly fine.
And yeah, the acolyte's eyes go a little wide because she doesn't know she believes you. Um, the acolyte says, I don't know if your rooms are ready, but is she a friend of yours?
She's someone that needs to be questioned, pertaining to the reason that I returned back to Waterdeep.
I don't think it wise for you to take her back to your room then. We can take her to an office with a high cleric. This is very unusual. And like a number of other acolytes have sort of started to appear.
I think she's
Especially if the rooms aren't ready, then I'll take her to the office of Sister Celinda or Serena.
Serena. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you go
I'm
back. And
not
like,
a sister.
like as you're bringing her down the hall, like a couple of the doors start to open and people are looking to see what's going on. And Serena opens her door. And she looks at you and looks at the girl, and Serena says, "What, brother? What is this? What is going on? Have you already caught one of them?" And like she gets a little excited.
I haven't caught one of them, but this is definitely where we would be starting the questioning.
And like I think the girl at this point is like she's just muttering like please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. I don't. And like Serena's looking at you, Valem, and looking at the girl, and Serena says, "No one's going to kill you, dear. Please calm down, calm down." And she goes over to a table and she like pours a tall glass of water, and she kind of brings it over. She beckons for you to sit the girl down.
Yeah, I do.
So are you all with Valem now?
Probably.
Yeah.
I am.
Except for Reginald, who had to like go find a bathroom.
I'm lost
It's now
somewhere.
lost.
Grandpa lost in the mall. So yeah, you sit her down, and you guys are all kind of, and this is a pretty small room for all of you, so you're like crouched, like you're all stuffed in here, almost like sardines. And Serena's like looking at the girl, and she's staring into her eyes, and like looking at her pupils, and she looks to you, Valem. She says, "Brother Valem, I don't mean to tell you your business, but you've only just arrived in the city. I thought you didn't want to attract attention."
Girls
This
always
isn't a matter of
get
attracting attention. She saw us and she reacted accordingly. This is someone.
And you say that, and Serena says, "What acted accordingly? What should she fear you? What I don't."
She took off running. To give you more details of what's happening with my family, I made a mistake. My family is in danger because I chose to give 2 slaves a chance at a new life. If my sin is treating slaves like free men, then I will serve out my penance. But I brought 2 men by the name of Casper and Ibrahim back to town, and my family offered them jobs. When Ibrahim started working, he caused an altercation in the kitchen, and he fled to a local brothel. And that's where he ended up working. And this young lady may very well be one of the individuals who worked there.
And like the girl is like staring up at Serena, like with these wide eyes. Her pupils are dilated, and she looks to Serena. She says, "Ma'am, please don't let him take me. It's his fault. It's his fault. You don't know what they did to him. You don't know what they did." And like she starts to break down, like something she's remembering, some recollection she's having is causing her some pretty serious, like egregious problems. And Serena looks to you, Valem. She says, "Brother, that I suspect there are more details to this story. What would you recommend we do with her for the time being? If you're saying we can't let her go, has she committed a crime? We should turn her over to the city guard."
Without knowing who's on our side or not, I don't want to endanger her life. I need to ask questions of her. She obviously knows something. taking her to the magistrate doesn't always work out. Again, the lesson I learned in Baldur's Gate.
Can't you offer her sanctuary?
And Serena looks to you, and this is like the first time Serena's seen any of you, and she looks up and hears your voice, Len, and she sees you, and her eyes go wide a little bit. She says, "Well, it's not that simple. It is possible. It would depend entirely on her and what she had to offer."
Where do
And
you need to-
Serena looks to the girl. She says, "Do you have a name, child?" And the girl's like just sobbing, and she's like, she's snorting. Yes, yes, ma'am. I'm called Kira. I'm sorry. This was a mistake. I promise I saw nothing. If you'll just let me go. And Serena just kind of looks pointedly at you, Valem. Okay. Radius.
Kira, we're going
I
to
cast
need.
Go Zone of Truth.
We're going to need your participation. We're certainly not here to harm you, but if you know anything that's going to protect my family, we need to get that information from you.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. So. So suffice it to say, she made her save, or does she?
Mhm.
Did she get? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a save.
Yeah. So
Charisma.
she actually crit. Um. So she just looks to you a little confused. Look, I just I don't know what you want.
All I want to know is what happened. Just take a deep breath and tell me everything that you know.
And Serena kind of looks at her, and Serena takes a deep breath and looks in the girl's eyes. She said, "Stay calm, child. We mean you no harm. You will suffer no harm here. I swear it." And the girl, like, she's still sobbing and like obviously shaken. She looks at, and she doesn't want to look at you, Valem, so she's speaking basically to Serena. She says, "What he said is true. The young man, he came to us for work. He was trying to make enough coins so that he could return home to Baldur's Gate. And he worked for us for some time." She takes a deep swallow. She says, "It was one night we were entertaining guests. These men showed up, these awful looking men. One of them, he had this smile. I'll never forget his smile." And like Serena like takes a moment to get her to relax. And Serena says, "Continue." The girl says, "They came in and Ibrahim," and like even saying his name obviously upsets her. He was with a client. The men, they forced the madam. They had weapons and scars. The madam told them where he was. The screams. Oh God!" And she is beside herself as she is recalling the events of this night in question. Serena looks to you, Valem, wide-eyed and pale-faced. She says, "What have you brought down on us, brother?" I think that's where we'll pick up next week.
Lovely.
Hey, you're getting the blame.
Yeah, okay. Oh, I gotta stop the recording.